Of course, the driving force propelling these politicians was not only a high-minded ethos of public spiritedness, ambition, ego and paternalism were also at work. But while Mr. Bush was rooted in the Eastern elite and Mr. McCain hailed from a storied military family, this era of leaders was not all to the manner born. Former Senators Daniel K. Inouye and Bob Dole, the former a son of a Japanese immigrant and the latter a son of the Kansas Plains, who first met in a military hospital after being wounded in World War II, were both archetypes of this period and were hardly imbued with noblesse oblige. They were stewards of the country, and that was the point. They both believed that when you were elected to public office, your first responsibility was to solve the problems that come in your inbox. Mark Salter, Mr. McCain's longtime chief of staff, said of the senator and the 41st president, citing their principles but lack of ideological rigidity. While both were committed internationalists, Mr. McCain more hawkish than Mr. Bush, the two demonstrated more flexibility on issues at home. Mr. Bush first ran to the right as an unsuccessful Senate candidate in 1964, but regretted his pandering on race and returned to the center in his winning House bid 2 years later. And while he dismissed what he called voodoo economics as a presidential candidate in 1980, he eagerly signed on to supply-side economics as Ronald Reagan's vice president, before raising taxes when he was president himself. He also signed the Americans with Disabilities Act, which made life easier for millions but created a new regulatory regime.